Now, this gentleman is one of the coaches at the JT Fox organization, and he has been since 2013. This is Coach Jeffrey. He has a master's degree in communication and is known as the Jedi Mind Coach. He also does business growth strategy and has 20 years experience as an adjunct professor. So please give a beautiful, warm family reunion welcome to Coach Jeffrey.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Thank you so much.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
All right, thank you. Thank you. First of all, just let me say that it's so wonderful to be a world-class coach in front of a world-class community of top-notch entrepreneurs. Everybody join me in thanking JT Fox for bringing us all together. All right, so do I have your permission? All right, do I have your permission to go fast? That's good, because I'm excited, so I might go fast. Do I have your permission to make mistakes? Well, that's a good thing, because I'm human. Do I have permission to suggest that you take notes? Okay. Please do so and write down my mistakes, because I'm committed to getting better, and I want you to hold me accountable to getting better should I make any mistakes. And if there's anything of value, you might want to write that down too. Do I have permission to leave you wanting more? Okay, that's just a Jedi mind trick for I might run out of time. Do I have permission to hold you accountable? All right, well, today I want to talk about accountability. Have we talked about accountability at all in the 2 days? Okay, so hopefully we have something of value to share. Now, accountability, as you can see up here, and by the way, that's me, and I'm sorry, JT, I didn't get my graphic designer to Photoshop the JT Fox tie in the graphic there. But in my coaching methodology, it involves assessments, of course, on the intake process and getting clear, established goals. And then the formula beyond that is motivation plus accountability equals results. So on the motivational side, there's two ways to motivate people. Give strategies and tactics. Everything that anybody could want to achieve in life or business, there's been strategies for it. There's a proven system. So it's easy to recommend strategies, proven strategies, especially if we know left brain, right brain skill sets, we can select the right strategy for people. If we have the right strategy and people still aren't taking action, then we got to do the checkup from the neck up. On the slide, it says behavioral intervention. That's jargon, right? But the slogan is the checkup from the neck up. Can anybody make some noise if you've been touched by the mindset coaching? Has anybody interacted with me at all for mindset? Can you make some noise, clap, yell it out? Anybody? Okay, you don't have to yell. I'm right here. All right. So I don't want to talk to you about that today. What I want is your permission to talk about accountability. So we're pointing to the other side. And there's two main ingredients for accountability. Do I have your permission? Can we talk about accountability? Can we focus on that? Do I have your permission? All right. So I need to get bigger to talk about accountability. Is that okay? Thank you. All right. So what is accountability coaching? And, accountability is, when we talk about accountability coaching, let's focus on the ingredients first of all. There's two main ingredients, active ingredients for accountability coaching. Number one is integrity. And integrity is one of these fun things. I think it's kind of like parenting or driving. Everybody thinks that they're really good at it, but everybody else sucks, right? And a lot of times people think integrity is having values, having morals, having ethics. But what I like to remind people of is that that's nothing unless it's integrated with behavior. Integrated with behavior. You got to integrate your values, morals, and ethics with your actions. There's all kinds of other things that we want integrated. Your action with your word with your strategy with your goal with your potential with your gifts, and your gifts with whatever meaning you attach to this wonderful life that you're living. We want to integrate all of that, bring that together. So many people are staying busy all the time, but we don't want to mistake activity for achievement. What percentage of your day-to-day activities are integrated with the central nervous system that I just laid out for you? Another ingredient is task or self-management. It is an excuse to call it time management. I've got news for you. I'm looking at 11 minutes. Time does just fine managing itself. What we need to manage is ourselves, our tasks, our decisions. We say time management, and that lets us mentally think it's beyond us, it's outside of us. We need to put the focus inside of us and make sure that we're managing ourselves. We have to hold ourselves accountable. It's even better if we give other people permission to hold us accountable. So stop calling it time management. Now, on surface, accountability coaching is bad cop, right? Instead of good cop, motivation and mindset and strategy. It's bad cop because it involves confrontation. And a lot of people want to avoid confrontation. I don't want to be confrontational. I don't want to upset anybody. Okay, well, do you want to be broke? Right? So on surface, that confrontation gets a bad rap. But as I'm going to talk about in a little bit, it really, underneath the confrontation is love. So accountability coaching, you think drill sergeant, browbeating, confrontation, and it has on surface some bad packaging. But if you unwrap that package, underneath what you'll find is love, and we'll maybe get to that in a minute or two. All right, so when I'm training coaches on accountability, or if I'm training corporate leaders, supervisors, managers, directors, VPs, internal teams on how to hold their people accountable, we talk about the state of mind. Of course, you guys, I was introduced as the Jedi Mind Coach, and I want to give a shout out to Eric Easterwood. How many of you know Eric Easterwood? Right? Okay, that's right. He branded me internally as the Jedi Mind Coach, and he said, Jeffrey, you're so much more than that, so get on stage and let him hear it. So thank you, Eric Easterwood. Now, when I'm training coaches, you have to have a state of mind. You have to be ready, because when you confront, when people feel resistance, they want to push back. They want to slither. They want to slide. They want to throw up smoke and mirrors. And maybe they even want to say, well, what about you, coach? So you have to have a state of mind. You have to have a readiness for the reactions to the confrontation that you're going to offer people. And of course, you have to have some integrity yourself. You got to walk the walk. You got to talk the walk. You got to talk the talk and walk the walk, right? So what I mean by that is, you don't have to be perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. What's the largest room in the world? No, it's not the lobby out there, which is cavernous. No, what's the largest room in the world? It's the room for improvement. So everybody has room to improve, but coaches, if you want to either be a coach or have the skill set of coaching, you need to be a product of the product. You have to demonstrate somewhere in your life that you are a product of coaching, that you understand coaching, that you receive coaching, that you're coachable, and that you're constantly working to get better. JT talks all the time about his coaches, and as a matter of fact, you know that that's what separates JT from every other speaker and every other wealth coach, etc., is that he invests in the coaching, and that's made all the difference. He'll tell you that up and down, left and right, diagonally and sideways. So if you want to coach, how many of you have people reporting to you in your organizations? Keep your hands up if you have challenges holding them accountable to doing what they're supposed to do, doing what they need to do. All right, thank you. So if you want the skill set of coaching in your toolbox, one of the things that we would talk about if I were training you was to have that state of mind and to make sure that you are a product of the product, because one of the things that your people are going to do is say, well, what about you, coach? What about you, boss? What about you, supervisor? They'll go to the water cooler and try to pick on you and take you down, because that's so much easier than looking within, isn't it? Isn't it? Do I have your permission to keep going? Yes. Do I have your permission to continue? Yes. All right, thank you. All right, so it's a powerful relationship. Accountability coaching is a very powerful relationship, as I mentioned, from the integrity perspective. It's a powerful relationship with and to our word. What is your relationship to your word? How many of you know those people in your life that when they say they're going to do something, you know right away that they're not? Anybody, you have people like that? You're like, okay. However, on the other hand, how many of you are or know people in your life that when they say they're going to do something, they do it, they do the hell out of it, and they let you know right away? Isn't that refreshing? Which one of those two do you want to be? Which one of those two do you want to inspire? So when I train accountability coaches, or when I train coaches, and when we talk about the subject of accountability, we really pay attention to that powerful relationship to the word, because it's the basis, it's the proof, it's the evidence of our integrity. All right, so this is a fun one. It's a concept called a screw. I like to call it the screw of accountability. And the screw of accountability has different ranges of tightness, right? And that required for each client or each student or each direct report that you're dealing with. Sometimes, like I said, those people that have great integrity, if you put the screw in, maybe you just need one turn and it sits. It's not flush with the surface, but you just put it in there and it sticks. That's all it needs. That's all it needs to do the job. They make a commitment, they take action, and not only that, they get it done right away, and not only that, they see the next steps and they do even more. So when they come back to the coaching session, say, well, did you do what you said you were going to do? And they say, well, not only did I do that, but I did this and this and this and this as well. That's wonderful. Other people come back to their coaching sessions, and you know as well as I do, sometimes they even try to put off their coaching session because they didn't do what they said they were going to do. Trust me when I tell you right now, every reason, which is just an excuse that you have in your head, all of the self-talk that you have in your mind as to why you should delay, put off, or cancel your coaching session is the exact reason you need to keep that coaching session. Does that make sense? Are you with me on that? Okay, so when people have the bravery or the courage to come to their coaching session knowing that they haven't done what they say they're going to do, we're gonna have to turn that screw a little tighter. Why didn't it get done? What are the consequences of it not being done? And are you gonna decommit or recommit? Because purgatory does nobody any good. Shit or get off the fence, shit or get off the pot, right? You can't stay in purgatory, you can't leave this commitment just open. Are you gonna do it or not? Hey, decommit if you're not gonna do it, but just be your word. Or recommit, and then tell me when you're gonna do it. By when will it be done? How will I know that it's done? Text me a picture of you in front of the gym with the timestamp, right? Send me, blind copy me on the email that you send. Send me the draft. Make me the first phone call when you need to make your hour of outbound phone calls. Make me the last phone call, so maybe we could do some role play. How can I help you? How can I support you? I'm gonna turn that screw of accountability. I'm gonna confront you. I'm gonna be the bad cop, but I'm gonna deliver all of this on a plate of I love you. So, before I get to the requirements for accountability coaching, the last thing that I want to mention, what is accountability coaching? Well, it is the totality. You mean all? Yeah, the totality. Isn't that a fun word? The totality, right? It is the totality of success. You tell me, how would any of us have any idea what success is unless we were counting, unless we were measuring, unless we had some measurement to then compare our results and our achievements against? How would we ever know lightness if there wasn't darkness, right? So everything about success, the possession of it, the pursuit of it, the uses of it are all defined by and rooted in the willingness to count. And we can all count. But how many of us avoid it? Like, sometimes like the plague. It's the ego. Let's not set it, let's make it vague. Let's make it not time-bound. Let's make it general. Let's make it a hope, a wish, or a dream instead of a goal. So I'll get to goals in a second. I've got three and a half minutes left, and I'm really, are we having fun, by the way? Okay. Now, 3 requirements. There's more that we could say, but I only have 15 minutes, right? So there's a lot more that we could say about accountability coaching. I can't train anybody to do accountability coaching in 15 minutes, but hopefully I'm sharing some value and giving you some things to think about. So 3 major requirements that I want to share with you. There's more, but here are 3. First of all, love, as I'm talking about. I'm going to deliver all of this on a plate of I love you. Now, we've heard a lot about love in the last couple of days. We've heard a lot about vulnerability, but how many of you made the connection that love is the willingness to be vulnerable? It is the choice to be vulnerable. Love is the will, so that either you or your beloved may grow. Now, in an accountability coaching relationship, the person receiving the coaching is vulnerable. They're gonna get confronted. They're gonna make commitments. Their word is out there. But the coach is vulnerable too, because we may get pushback. We may get smoke and mirrors. Like, how many times, are there any coaches in the room, by the way? How many times have you tried to hold somebody accountable, they leave and they say, well, my coach sucked, right? That's the biggest bunch of BS, right? So you guys understand, as coaches, we have to be willing to be vulnerable with our students. We have to be willing to receive the feedback, however true or not, right, that they may give, which will do everything other than making the changes that they need to make, doing what's necessary, doing what's difficult. Now, no vulnerability, no accountability. We've heard a lot about love. We've heard a lot about vulnerability. But how many of you have made the neuro association between love, vulnerability, and accountability? How many of you connected? No vulnerability, no accountability. Be willing to be vulnerable. Be willing to be counted. Be willing to share this vulnerability with your coach. It seems like bad cop, right? It's not. It's all delivered on a plate of I love you, at least the way that I do it. Minute 44 left. So it also requires goals. No goals, no coaching. If there's no goals, there's no coaching. Now, it may be a valuable conversation. It may even be worth paying a lot of money for. But don't call it coaching unless there's a goal. A therapist, they're promising to take you into the past to heal some sort of wound. But a coach is promising to take you into your future despite any wounds, which we all know are excuses. Finally, the requirement. Do I have your permission to share the last requirement? Do I have your permission? Okay, well, guess what? It's permission. Don't ever, ever try to hold somebody accountable without their permission. The reason that accountability coaching gets a bad rap is because people try to hold people accountable, but they haven't made the effort to love and get permission. Do I have your permission? Do I have your permission to be honest with you? Do I have your permission to do I have your permission to say something very straightforward? Once you get the permission, now it's a hot knife through warm butter. So in closing, I just want to let you know that accountability coaching is really what's going to make the difference. If you're given strategies, even if we do the Jedi mind tricks and get you out of your own way, even if you have some sort of integrity, it all falls apart unless you have the willingness to be vulnerable. And if you don't let us deliver that vulnerability on a plate of I love you, it's all going to fall apart. How many of you have ever heard those saying, hold me accountable, or I want to hold you accountable, hold you accountable, hold. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coach Jeffrey. It's a treat to be in the JT Fox organization. Thank you for your permission to let me hug you accountable.